This movie is suffering from some real big like Coogler hype.
I think ever since a certain era, he's like, I'm just gonna like talk now. I don't feel like acting anymore.
Jared told me Geostorm is a comfort movie.
I always thought he was this generation's Ridley Scott with his visual composition, production design, and photography. All right, I got to be honest. We're trying to hop on that buzz train right now. The two biggest movies in theaters right now is Sinners and a Minecraft movie. We both actually caught them in theaters. So we're pushing the Luca episode, which is actually episode 15, back, and it's going to be episode 16 now. So you'll hear a couple references in this video that this is episode 16. It's actually episode 15 now. So yeah, enjoy our review of Sinners and a Minecraft movie. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to another edition of your favorite movie podcast, the Some Damn Movies Podcast. This is episode 16. Damn, we're consistent these days. I'm loving it. Technically,
Nuts.
Episode 15 will be late, but I don't really care about a schedule. I'm releasing it when I edit it Wednesday, and then this podcast will be out the very next week. We're going to stay on that type of schedule. So today we have plenty of movies to talk about. So the two big movies that we both actually caught in theaters this week was a Minecraft movie and Sinners. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. But first, as always, Ian, my co-host. Of course, I am Jared. I didn't introduce myself, but I am Jared. And next to me, I have my co-host, Ian. How you doing, bud? What you been watching and how you doing?
I'm doing great. I have to say that we were texting. Do you guys text? I'm just wondering, do you guys text your friends? I text my friends, and Jared's one of my best friends, if not he is my best friend. He texted me something. So how do I even start this? Here's what I watched outside of Sinners and the Minecraft movie. I watched recently, I went and watched Warfare by Alex Garland. That was a great movie. I only have a few gripes about it. One of them, I don't think their ranks were right. Me being a Navy boy and them being SEALs, I was like, why are they wearing what looks to be Army or Marine ranks? But like, whatever, maybe that's something they do. I don't really talk with a whole lot of special warfare operators. Now, that being said, just to go on to that, it was the fastest 90 minutes I've ever experienced, or I can remember experiencing, in the best way.
Okay.
It was like nonstop. I felt like this was a movie for like Alex and his friends. This was not like a big release through A24. It was pretty small. I actually went and the reason why I got to see so many is I told my wife, I was like, hey, like, I really want to see this in theaters. The sound was awesome.
Yeah.
I thought it sounded just so good in the theaters. I would say to be clear, I do not think that this is going to be like an Oscar. I did not think that this would be like a real Oscar worthy movie, except for sound design. Like, I thought the sound was so good. Like, it was so immersive. Like, there was a level of anxiety, and a tension that they gauged and managed from beginning to end. It was awesome. If you're into into war movies, also it takes place in just one house. It's all in one house. And the objective of it is to get out of the house. Like, it follows it follows a SEAL company inside of Ramadi in 2006. If people are familiar with like Operation Iraqi Freedom, Ramadi was an insane, like, that was the bulk of most of the fighting. It was a very bloody place to be, a very violent place to be, and some of the worst casualties and worst incidents happened at Ramadi. Yeah, I think overall it's a great watch. I couldn't recommend it enough. I would even say it's the best thing I watched this week for sure.
Oh, wow.
If I'm being honest, like, at no point in time did I have any qualms with the movie, other than like, yeah, there was the little thing with the their ranks, but I think all the acting was great. I mean, we have notable names. We have Will Poulter, and then what's his name, Stephen Quinn from Stranger
Joseph
Things,
Quinn?
or Joseph Quinn. So they were both in it.
Well, it has Charles Melton in it too.
Who's Charles Melton? Shit.
He's the one that was in the big movies, somewhat big movie in 2023, 2024 era, May, December, if you remember that one. It was based off of a true story of he what was it? Like an older woman played by what's her name? Why can't I think of it? Julianne Moore played in it. Yeah. So it was about a controversial woman who
this is him. Yeah, I know him.
Yeah, 24-year-old long relationship with her husband Joe, which began when he was 13 and she was 36. Yeah,
so I would have to say that he was a great, because he comes in like towards like halfway through, because he's the supporting company commander. So he comes in. And he like kind of takes over the situation, because Will Poulter's character is like shell shocked because they originally tried to exit the house and then an IED blows up and then they're like, we're fucked. And then they're like, we need help. I do think that this movie is not Alex's. It's weird to say it would be his best. I think it was just a very solid movie. It takes place. It's a very, I don't want to say simple. It's not like simple. It takes place in one house though. Right. So like how crazy, we're not going, there's no crazy shots, right? We're sitting in one house, 2 stories. We're telling the stories of this incident in Ramadi with this SEAL company. The shots weren't so super complex. There were some really cool ones, but I think this is sort of like, the only way, I don't want to say it's very competent. I don't want to say this would be like some like a really hot running grad school, like film school major. It's definitely above that. Like if a film school graduate, like a really good one, was like, I'm going to make a war movie and like wanted to make it about, like, it would be like that like times 10, right? It's like they had a budget, they had something, but like the whole concept of just this story, right, just seems simple enough that I think a film school graduate would be like, hey, I'm going to tell this story. It's not too crazy. It's just in this house. Like we have some supporting not B-roll, but some supporting shots to tell what's going on outside of it. But also the way that they gauged tension. It was tense from the get-go. I definitely think people should watch it. I do think it was the best thing that I have watched today or to this week. Because the only thing is outside of what I watched this week was I watched Avengers again, just because this goes into why did I watch Avengers again? Because I had a call or I had a text message from Jared about how comfort movies. Oh, okay. And I'm trying not to swear, but there's only one way I can say it. But this motherfucker tried to tell me Geostorm is a comfort movie, and I was triggered. I was triggered out of my mind.
We have our own comforts here, bud.
Jared told me Geostorm is a comfort movie.
It is,
and I am pissed about it. It's not. It's fucking not. You're fucking wrong. Because I watched Geostorm after that. I read this text message of Jared telling me, oh, I've been in a real comfort movie kind of. Let me get the fucking text message. I'm so sorry. Let me
read my list of comfort movies I've been watching.
The list of comfort movies that this fucking man has been watching and how it pisses me off.
So I finished my Final Destination
So
viewings.
Geostorm and Power Rangers. And we're not even talking about the original Power Rangers. He's talking about like the shit that Elizabeth Banks was in. And he's like, those are comfort movies.
Hey, she wasn't that bad in it.
About it. She's not, but it's not a good movie. It was a very boring movie. It was a super boring Power Rangers movie. Like
I'm watching the originals soon.
The originals are on Netflix and they are good. Like they are fun. Like that's what I say when I mean good. It's like they're fun. Like you can have fun watching them. I would even go as far as to say comfort movies. And I watched Avengers not because I was a little bit like nostalgic and wanting like a the Infinity Saga, pre-Endgame era. But the thing is like the Avengers is a comfort movie for me because I like it. I know all the twists and turns, right? That's what they say about a comfort movie. You just know everything about it. You kind of that 80-20 watching, but also it's nice when you look up. And I loved watching Avengers, the original Avengers. I think it still hits. I don't know how they caught lightning in a bottle from everything from Endgame and before, but I have very few complaints about that. But you're gonna tell me Geostorm is a fucking
I stand by it.
A fucking comfort movie.
I stand by it. You want to know?
Shut up. You would.
Here's the thing.
You would fucking stand by it.
I find comfort in these crazy, terrible, awful,
Gerard Butler sucking
disaster films. I love them. They're fun.
Shut the fuck up, dude.
They're terrible, but they're fun.
Hear me out. I can't even remember. I didn't even get Geostorm up ready to bitch about it.
I mean, it's terrible.
You're going to tell me. So this movie, here's the worst part about Geostorm. Okay. So for those who don't know, Earth is going to like the carbon footprint through the roof. Everything's fucked. The planet is doomed. So of course they made this thing to save the planet.
Not they. Gerard Butler is this like ultra genius like engineer.
Yeah, he's an ultra genius.
Made, like,
that's how you know it's fiction right off the rip.
Climate controlled satellite.
But once you put like the hot white dude as the genius, we know it's fiction. Anyway,
can we also, by the way, in this movie, he just says fuck having an American accent anymore. I think ever since a certain era, he's like, I'm just gonna like talk now. I don't feel like acting anymore.
He knows he's just getting paychecks. He knows. But here's the thing: is that there is nothing wrong with a schlocky disaster movie. That is why Roland Emmerich has a career, right? That's why, like, if there is something, if you're going to talk to me about disaster films, and I'm going to go immediately to Roland Emmerich, right? We're talking about Independence Day, a fucking classic right there. We're talking about like 2012.
Which this director of Geostorm wrote.
He wrote fucking 2012. I mean, 2012 is not the best one.
No, he wrote Independence Day with Roland Emmerich.
He wrote Independence Day?
Yes, he's one of the writers, and he produced it. Look at all of these Roland Emmerich movies. Guess who's attached to him? The same guy that did. It's Dean Devlin. More often than not, you'll find him on there.
So he was like, oh,
here you go, Godzilla, 2000s or 1999 Godzilla.
Oh, so he's primary. He's only directed. So yeah, he did Geostorm. He did the Stargate movie in '94 or the show.
Yeah.
So Independence. Oh yeah, but he has Independence Day Resurgence. He has Independence Day Resurgence. Godzilla is also not good.
Co-writer was also Roland Emmerich, dude.
It sounds like Roland Emmerich did a lot of carrying. It sounds like Roland Emmerich was actually the writer, and then he wanted to give his boy Dean a fucking paycheck.
Listen, I didn't stop with Geostorm. I then continued my Gerard Butler watch with Greenland right after. And that one's actually much better. I just have to say,
back onto the Geostorm thing for a second. The problem with it is that Roland Emmerich is arguably the Michael Bay of disaster films. That's what it is. If you like, that's the best way of putting it. Cause like these disaster films are just so over the top, right? Like Independence Day is like a pretty good example. It's not really like natural disaster. But they're very over the top, and you do watch them to turn your brain off. But man, watching Geostorm, Jesus Christ, I almost couldn't finish it. It was bad. I was just so in the mood
to not think.
I was like, how? I
didn't want to think anymore.
And I was like, even the lack of thinking hurts with this movie, because I was thinking to myself, I was like, how did Jared like say that this was a comfort movie? What comfort did you experience watching fucking Geostorm?
I didn't have to think. That's my comfort. I don't like to think sometimes. Yeah, I want to turn my fucking brain off and just sit there and just watch some okay action.
I would argue that it wasn't even okay action.
I would argue it's better action than what we saw this week, but we'll get back to that later. There's other movies I watch too. Okay, I watch Wedding Crashers, which is another good comfort film.
That's a comfort film. See. That's a comfort film.
I moved to a different genre. Like I ended up watching Couples Retreat as well because I was on a Vince Vaughn kick again.
I can see that.
That movie I didn't really like. I think that movie's kind of shit.
It's not that great, but like it's a more reasonable comfort film.
I watched Twisters. I think Twisters is a great comfort disaster film.
Really good.
I think Twisters I think it might be. I watched it in theaters, so this is
the old one.
Yeah. No, the new one, Twisters.
The new one is really good too. I like both of them.
I don't like them. I didn't like it as much as the original, but I think the cast is pretty good. I just think the plot's just really dumb.
And that's kind of, if you're going to talk about like natural disaster films, like I don't need the plot to be like great.
Excellent.
I just need it to be competent. I just need it to make sense.
I think I just didn't like the love story angle. I thought it was stupid. It was just a waste of time for me.
So like I'm kind of
obviously I do too.
I mean, I do agree with you whenever you're saying that. When I say like I like them, it's like I like having a little love story in there, even when it's like inappropriate. Like I would say like it could have worked without it. But I thought big fan of Glenn Powell. I think he crushes it. Like I think he just has a fun time too. I think like everything he's in, I think it's just a fun time.
Yeah,
so, like,
I don't think he holds back either. I like that. Like I feel like he's having a great time acting and just having a good time on these sets. And I like that.
I think he's I think another way of saying it is because like, it's very easy to, maybe it's not easy to forget, but like, there's a very small percentage of like working actors that are at that level, right? It's like something like 1 or 2% of all working actors are at that level. And I do think that it comes off to me like he is very sincere about his enjoyment of acting. And I don't think he gives a shit what he's in. Like I even watched
within that genre too.
What was the one with Sydney Sweeney? It was the Much Ado About Nothing.
I know what you're talking about. That one was okay. I thought their chemistry was awful and off, but I still enjoyed it.
I still enjoyed it as well. Like but I think part of that enjoyment came from, I need to look it up now because it felt like it was not a good summer rom-com. I'll just say that. It was I'm sorry. Anyone but you. Yeah. I still enjoyed it though. Or part of why I went there is because I do think that Glenn as an actor, I think he's just having a fun time. And like, honestly, if you're having a fun time with a movie, I just want to have a fun time with a movie. Cause he also had that one where he was like acting like he was a tough guy.
He's in a Linklater movie, Hitman, which was fun.
And that was a lot of fun. I just think like not only was the movie fun, but he was a lot of fun. And I say that because like when we talk about comfort movies, part of it comes from that is like the escape, like are they enjoying it? And that's very important. I think just him as an actor, I think he's a very good actor. I think he's good. I think part of it is just he really likes to do it, and I appreciate that. I think he really appreciates that he like his stance. I think there's a level of humility that comes with it that he's like he's gracious to be like a successful actor. So.
Well, here I have an alley oop for us. The transition here. So one of my other comfort movies that I watched was the 2005 Peter Jackson's King Kong, and
classic.
I really enjoy Jack Black in that role.
That movie.
It's like a perfect he's
it's
a little
been like 10 years since I've watched it. That movie.
It holds up, by the way. Like
fantastic.
Yeah, it's awesome,
and it is also arguably one of the best movie games.
It feels so grand too. Like it feels big and I love it.
Yeah. Peter Jackson cooked on that one. And then he just like, I couldn't argue with that. And I still like Jack Black.
Overall,
I would actually go, I think Jack Black, what I was just saying with Glenn Powell, is he trying to get a paycheck? Absolutely. I think he's just having fun with it too. And I think he is very sincere whatever role he's in.
He gets into it.
He gets into it. He has a lot of fun. And I'm also speaking with rose tinted glasses because I too, like one of my favorite movies, I would actually say I haven't updated my Letterboxd, but I watched it about a year or so ago. Maybe I did. Let me look at my profile.
Well, hey, we're doing a Linklater. I need to watch this year. So that's on the docket. I was going to
say School House of Rock or School of Rock. My bad. School of Rock is easily
Incredible.
Top 5. I would actually say it's probably top 4 for me. That's where I'm going to probably take it. Fanboys is up there too. I just think Fanboys is a little more campier. It's more of like that is a straight up comfort watch, but like as like a kid watching School of Rock, that's what got me into playing guitar. Like I just thought it was so cool, and Jack Black had like such a fun time with it. I really can't. Yeah, like.
I just like him in his more serious roles, just because I do think similar to like an Adam Sandler, where their comedic roles are obviously like that's their bread and butter. But like Jack Black's a legitimately good actor, just like Adam Sandler is also a very good like dramatic actor.
I would like to see him in something like Paddleton. Do you remember that? That was the one with what was it? Everyone Loves Raymond. What's his name? Ray. Oh my God.
Oh, Ray Romano.
Ray Romano.
And Mark Duplass.
And Mark Duplass, which I have to say, even though I've heard, it doesn't even matter. I don't even need to talk about what I've heard. I am a fan of the Duplass brothers. You'll probably hear me talk about it a lot, but like Paddleton is a fantastic movie. And shit, I need to like rate that.
I don't know. I hope Jack Black goes back to just give me one role every other year or every couple of years.
I
just
want
a serious one, please.
I would like a serious one, but he might not be in that. It might be because I think he has kids too. I think he's just kind of like in his like dad era, which is like fine. But I would like to see him in a couple serious roles. Like, yeah, if I could get like one serious role out of him
every now and then,
a year, honestly, I would be fine with every 2 years.
If
it was a really good one, right? Like I'm talking about like he is like doing. I would love to see what A24 film.
That'd be nuts.
He would get put into. Like,
let's put him with like a Leo or something. Like that'd be hilarious.
I want to
Jack
see
Black
this
and Leo or something.
Jack Black, yes, Jack Black and someone just so serious, and like watch him pull his weight too.
Put him in a Scorsese film or something too. Because I mean, who else?
I think he could kind of thrive in a Scorsese film. Yeah. Talking about doing like it just depends on what Marty's like feeling, but I feel like he could absolutely,
Jonah Hill could do it. And he was great.
Yeah. I mean, and the thing is like, if that's going to be a tangent, but yeah, I think Jack Black, I would like to see him, but, and I think King Kong is a great example. Actually, I think he probably works well in like fantasy, like fantasy, sort of fiction, but anyway, hey, I'm Ian, again, Jared. If you're still here, it's been probably like 20, 30 minutes. Isn't that great? I love that you did that. So without further ado, I just want to ask you to like, comment, and subscribe. We make this for you and for us, really. But every piece of support helps. You know, if you're listening to this on the Apple, on any podcasting platform, leave us a 5-star review. The only thing we ask is if you leave us less than 5 stars, you have to leave a comment asking us what you would like us to improve on, because consistency is key. And if we are consistently improving, hopefully we can get you to put a 5-star review somewhere down the road. Other than that, that's all I've got to say. Appreciate you. Bye. This is the Minecraft movie portion of the video. We're going to start off with, of course, the Letterboxd boilerplate, and it is be there and be square. 4 misfits find themselves struggling with ordinary problems when they are suddenly pulled through a mysterious portal into the overworld, a bizarre cubic world that thrives on imagination. To get back home, they'll have to master the world while embarking on a magical quest with unexpected expert crafter Steve. To your point, yeah, I agree. I do not think I'll just say overall, I already rated it perfectly fine with the Minecraft movie. I think it just got hate because it got hate from adults. And I will say, like, some of the theater antics, whatever, I don't want to spend too much time on it. I actually thought it was kind of funny, but I also would have hated to have been those workers that had to clean up after it. And I do think it's fucked up on that part because they're just making minimum wage, man. Like some of when you see a real chicken inside of there, while I do respect the commitment, like we have to can we not think about like our fellow, you bring in like whole ass bags of popcorn and like throwing it out there. Like I would punch a kid. I would like dead ass. I would, if I was a worker, I would deck a fucking, my job's not worth it. At that point, I'm being facetious when I say
and
that.
Maybe just keep it to the popcorn at least. Just don't spill the drinks because that's even worse to clean up.
The drinks
at least
are worse.
Popcorn you can. brush up, but like
the thing is though, is like I talk about like Endgame, right? I talk about like how Endgame was such an electric moment. And I remember specifically, no pun intended, but like the part where Cap pulls up Mjolnir, which on so many levels works, right? Because, you know, Age of Ultron, they had the whole thing where he moved it, and like there's like the question.
It's a good payoff.
It was an unintended payoff too, because they didn't have to pay that off at all, but it worked really well. Because why did it work really well? Because Captain America can't fight Thanos. Period. Can't do it. It's not even a contest. So he needed something. So why not give him Mjolnir to like help fight, right? So he had like some kind of power to go up against him. So it works really well when it's thoughtful, right? It's like, hey, this works in the story and it's a payoff. Like, let's do this. You know, but I say that because like the crowd, the audience erupted with just like hype during that moment when I was in theaters watching it
too.
It's still hype. And it was like to have those moments where people connect through a movie, through something that we've been like experiencing for over 10 years. It's awesome. Or just on 10 years. And I'm not saying Chicken Jockey is the same way, but also if you like if it was just yelling about Chicken Jockey, that's fun, man. If anyone's going to watch a Minecraft movie and is expecting kids not to be kids, that's whatever. But the movie was fine. The movie was it was everything that I imagined. I think it got some undeserved hate because of the shenanigans and because people were like, it's just a cash grab. It's just, bro, shut up. It's not just a cash grab. Like it's a perfectly fine movie for kids. Like this is something that I would bring my nephew Sebastian to, right? Like he would love it. He loved this movie, watching it. Like even though I'm upset about like Star Wars stuff, like the Star Wars movies, because they aren't good. This is much better than the new ones. But part of that is because there was a realization for me that not every movie is made for me. Meaning like an adult, right? This is a kid's movie. I went into it with a kid, like knowing that this is a kid's movie. It was a fun romp. I enjoyed it.
See, I think this is a perfect, like where I would say, yes, this is a kid's movie. But I've always made the argument, for example, like a Pixar movie, I think is a little higher up than like a movie like this. I think this movie or like DreamWorks movies, like a Minions movie, are made for fucking kids. The adult jokes are limited, like, and the themes are limited in this movie. Yada yada yada. I think a Pixar movie you can definitely dissect a little bit more, and there's a little bit more nuance to a lot of the stuff in those type of movies. That's why I would make an argument that those are not kids movies. They're adult movies that you can bring your kids to, because it's animated and yada, yada,
a family movie. this isn't necessarily I mean, there's some aspects of like a family movie into it, like because like these are great vehicles to discuss heavier topics with like a kid too. Like it makes it like, digestible. It's like giving them their medicine and putting a little bit of sugar in it.
Yeah, right? Especially some of those newer ones, like Inside Out, I think has perfect like lessons to like be able to talk to your kids about, yada, yada, yada.
And it sparks that conversation too, right? Because like your kids are going to ask stuff like, hey, like what is this? And then it gives you the opportunity, especially, and I'm going to keep saying this, I think forever. I say it in my videos too, but I'm like, as a new dad, a new parent, like I could see those being great tools to like talk about like emotions and loss or like heavier topics with my kid down the road. Where, I mean, Minecraft movie didn't really go into it with that intention, though, right?
They definitely had moments where they tried to sort of interject, like, it's good to be yourself and creativity and stuff. Like, there's some lessons to be learned in there, but they all sort of fell flat and, like, didn't pay off.
It's Jared Hess. I don't want to,
obviously.
I don't want to talk, like, too much crap on him, but, like, it's like he did Nacho Libre and Napoleon.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm saying these are like film critic, like, complaints. Yeah. They're not my true, like, worries about this film. I didn't really like it. I didn't get that into it. I didn't have a good time with it, but, like, I would say, like, the big positive was, like, I think they visually showed the best thing you could do with the Minecraft movie. I was actually pretty impressed with the graphics. Like, I thought they looked pretty good. And I actually thought some of the action was pretty fun. Like, it looked pretty neat and it was like silly all around. I just didn't really get that much into it.
Yeah. Like, I don't think I was I thought it was fun. I had some laughs. I will say,
did not,
I mean, just like I like stupid comedy like that. Like it's, I thought Jason Momoa, I thought all the actors and actresses like were having fun.
Yeah.
That was my big thing.
They didn't hold back. I appreciate that for sure.
Yeah, and I think that for me, it actually made me like boot up I went and got Minecraft for myself and Sebastian on Xbox, and we've been playing it and just kind of like just chilling out. It's been fun. It's just like that's the one thing that I kind of wish would have been more in. It wouldn't work in a Minecraft movie if you're making it, but I like like Minecraft as a game is just very relaxing, very calming. It's just a place where you can exist. I think that's and the creativity part of it. It is a comfort game, and it's one that I think it really is like this generation, or like probably Gen Z. I think might have been young enough to where they like actually grew up with Minecraft. Is that, do you think?
Yeah,
maybe Gen Alpha, but definitely Gen Alpha. But either way, it's like their version of Legos and the stuff that it can be used to teach people. Like Minecraft is a good thing for the world. Yeah, the Minecraft movie was fun. I have no problem. So like that's about it. Like I
will say, I want to explain my predicament yesterday though. So I bought a ticket early on in the day, and I was the only one in the theater, in a middle seat in the back. By myself. The only way to go. I get to the theater, the entire auditorium is filled. And I'm like, I'm except for my seat. So I have multiple families on the side of me. I'm like, I'm not fucking sitting there. I'm not sitting I already look weird by myself in here with a bunch of kids and adults with their families. So I had to go and sit in the corner back. Because this is what parents do. They don't buy tickets ahead, right? They buy it at the theater. So when I go check and the app says that there's nobody in there, I expect no one's going to be in there. But hey, it's a kids movie, so it makes sense that they're not buying tickets ahead of time, because you know how you're a parent, like you never know what the hell is going to happen. So why waste money until you get there?
I mean, yeah, true. I mean, I haven't really went to the movies with a kid, but I also I don't know. Do you follow my boy Hunter? Good old I say my boy like I know him. But Papa Meat, like Meat Canyon. No, because he did his video on like the Minecraft movie, and I do stand by this shit 100%, because they were like they talked about it a little too long on like the hijinks, the ruckus that was being caused, but they said, like, I think it's like it's now like a not well kept secret that like the best time to go to a movie is on a Tuesday in the middle of the day where no one's there and you're getting the matinee tickets, right? And you go there because like that's what I ended up doing, and no one was in the theater, and I was watching it on IMAX at reduced cost. I went at 6:30 on a Saturday. That one's it's the only time I had, committed. Dude. I had to wait. Yeah, no, I mean you're committed. I appreciate that, but. So I went and did that, right? But what he had mentioned in his like little Minecraft movie video is that he was like, why don't you take your kids out of school for a day to go see a movie like that? Like if you're worried about them like not having a good experience, like why not just take them out on like a Tuesday? Why not take them out on a Wednesday? Like let them play a little hooky and bring it to me. And he was saying that, I was like, that is like a great idea. Like I'm definitely doing that for my kids. The day? Who cares? Yeah, like whatever. Give me the homework. We're leaving today. I'm just like gonna call the teachers and be like, hey, like once a month I'm gonna like bring my kids to movies during the week, because one, I don't have to deal with other kids in the movie theater. That's like the best part. Two, I'll just get their homework. I'm like, hey, we have to do homework day, but we're going to go watch a movie today. That's the deal. And they'll honestly probably be like, I'm down. And then we just once a month, we just go to the movies, bring them there. Don't have to, we beat the crowds. We get reduced tickets on Tuesdays. Great idea. And so I honestly, this is me to you, the viewer. If you have a kid, take them out of school for a day. Take them out of school for a day. Go to a movie with them on a Tuesday. Do not wait till Saturday, or you're going to experience what Jared did. And you don't want to experience that either, do you? You don't get a discount on your tickets. You have to fight with a whole bunch of other kids and a whole bunch of other families that are probably just in a not fun position because it's just probably chaotic. take your kid out for a Tuesday. Why not? How many movies are you seeing during the week? Right? Sean Baker's out here begging you to go see him. So that means you're not going every week, right? You're probably going about once a month. Why not take them out of school once a month? Give them a little treat. They'll love that. You can bargain with them. You're welcome. You're welcome for that tip.
So a Minecraft movie, you like it?
It was fine. Yeah. No, I mean, like,
you suggesting it to the masses?
I would suggest it if you have a kid. I wouldn't watch it on your own, like unless you're really into Minecraft, which
not even that. Maybe. I love Minecraft, but like Minecraft
it's not even it doesn't really capture Minecraft. It's just set in a Minecraft world.
Yeah.
Is like the best way.
Yeah, for people our age, 30-year-old plus, maybe just wait until it comes out on, I don't know, Disney, whatever it's going to come out on.
No, this is going to be on like
Paramount?
Honestly, even if I'm being real, when it comes out on streaming, I don't even think I'd recommend it then. I would only recommend this really if you have a kid in your life that is interested in it. We went and saw it because we have a movie podcast and SEO is a thing. So we wanted to talk about it.
That's true.
I'm just gonna be above board about it.
Hey, buddy,
I would not have went and saw this. Yeah, I would not have went to see this movie in theaters. No. I actively looked to see if I was like, is there an option to stream it? Which there is technically there is a copy, like a cracked copy. There is a copy without all the CGI online that people can watch, which like the community of like freaking kids was just like, that's the real way of watching it. But it's just like all blue screen. My point is though, I would not recommend this movie to go and watch unless you have a kid watching it. Like even though I liked it and I was fine with it, there's other movies I would have went and watched Warfare at this point in time if I didn't have to. This was, maybe not a second time, but I'm saying like the Minecraft movie, while I enjoyed it, was homework.
I think it was still also too fucking long. And it's an hour and 40 minutes. It was so long for me. Was it only
an hour and 40 minutes?
Yeah. And I will say, I think I would have honestly preferred this movie if you just took the dialogue out. That pissed me off the most because literally the movie is just pointing at references from the game. Like, oh, here's redstone, here's diamonds, here's sword, here's a crafting table. That's all the movie is. I would have been okay with that with just like the very casual Minecraft music in the back. I would have been okay with it. Because I thought the like graphics or the VFX or the whatever you want to call it, like I thought that was honestly the best I think you can make it to where it looks modern. It looks like it pops. It's vibrant. It's like it's out there. It looks colorful and it's silly like Minecraft is. You have the blocky effects where it doesn't also look too silly, but it's also still silly. I thought that right there was the best you could have done it. And I couldn't even imagine a better way to do it. Cause like, I was thinking that as I was leaving the theater, I was like, how can you make this movie better? It's like, it doesn't matter. It's a Minecraft movie. And it's like, what can you do? Cause it's just like, it's a game of freedom, like creative freedom is all it is. There's no story to it really. The only thing I guess I kind of wish as a Minecraft fan is like, unless I missed it, the Ender Dragon, was there any reference to that?
No.
I thought that was a little silly, right? Like,
yeah, like, because that is a big part of it. Maybe they just, I don't know. I think the Morgosha thing was fine. She's not in the games or anything. I don't think, just the piglins. I think they just wanted to have like a fight scene at the end, which I thought was funny. But again, for me, like, I liked this movie. There is a universe where I went and watched this movie and I would be pissed about it because I went to it for homework. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. Like, I would not, and again, I would not recommend this unless you have a kid in your life that wants to watch it, or you just are very curious about it and it hits a streaming service that you're subscribed to. Like, I would not.
Yeah, wait, for sure.
It's everything that you want. Yeah. Maybe, like, I don't.
Maybe be under the influence.
Maybe under the influence of something, and you're just wanting to chill out. It would be pretty fun, probably. But
perfect
like,
background noise.
Yeah, it's just like kind of like fun to watch. But like, and I'm not dogging. And I say this to where I'm like not punching on this movie. It's just it is what it is. It's a kids movie. Like, I would not have went and watched this if we didn't have a podcast and we weren't trying to be more relevant than we usually are. Yeah, and that's kind of where I'm at with it.
Yeah, I don't think I like necessarily wasted my time. I'm not too mad at myself for going to see this. It's just like I didn't have anything else to do. So like, I guess if I truly had other shit I wanted to do, I would be mad, but whatever. Like Jack Black is goofy. Like the cast is whatever. The story sucks. The graphics look fine. Whatever.
Yeah, story sucks being like, it's just the simplest story. And sometimes, it's just, anyway, I think I'm done with Minecraft movie.
I will just what the fuck was Jennifer Coolidge doing in this movie?
That's kind of like the best part of it, right? It's just like, what was she doing? Like,
and I love her,
there.
But
Yeah, she was just there. Like that was the whole point. They just wanted to do something with a villager to have it, be funny. But
then they were in the movie the entire movie.
The official consensus on a Minecraft movie from your boys here at Some Damn Movies is that we do not recommend it unless you have a very specific reason to go watch it. Like there's a kid that wants to see it in your life, or you just want to impulse spend while you're under the influence of whatever you have chosen.
Yep.
And you just want to like kick it back. Right. There's really, and this is, I just did a tier list for books, and the best way I could put, I kind of went through my ranking scale, like A, B, C, D, and F, and the C tier, I went in on my video talking about how the C tier is niche. Like, it's not like I'm saying something's just average. I'm saying that like this book and I would say like Minecraft is a C because like there is a very specific niche and reason why you would want to experience this story. And that's the only way I can recommend it. It's barely a recommendation. And I think like B and A are like, they go to a more general audience. Like they're more worth, I felt like they were more worth my time. Like I enjoyed them so fully, but like, I didn't really enjoy the stuff in the C tier as much because it's like not for me. And that's the best way I can put like a Minecraft movie is like, it's just not for me necessarily.
Same.
But there is absolutely someone out there that would love this and that would put this at like an A or a B. And it's probably people that are close to the age of my nephew, right? It's like 10-year-old kids, 12-year-old kids that enjoy it. Minecraft. Yeah. So. Oh, are you on YouTube right now? Did you like, comment, and subscribe yet? We'd love for you to do that. We come up with these podcasts every 2 weeks. Sometimes it gets a little off. I'm not going to lie. A lot of stuff's going on in our life, but we try to hold to every 2 weeks, 2 podcasts a month. And right now we have one episode that is kind of current, talking about what's going on in the movie theaters, really an excuse for us to go to the movie theaters. And then we've been doing this really cool deep dive into various directors. Right now, we're going to, I can't even remember her name, but you know
Penny
what?
Marshall.
What was it? Penny Marshall. We're talking about Penny Marshall, and you probably know her from stuff like A League of Our Own and the director of Big. But we're going to go in and we watch usually like their earliest work and like something popular, and then maybe some stuff in between, and then we dedicate a whole episode to discussing that. And maybe you'd be interested in talking about that as well. You can by all means join in on that conversation if you comment down below.
All right. So we're finally here to the big movie. The big movie.
This is the movie that we want to talk about.
Really. This is
they are talking
director Ryan Coogler's I would say first feature film outside of something that's like known. Like this is his first like really original work. So Fruitvale Station, his first film was based off of, I believe, like a book or something. Or like an active story or something, like true story. And then he moved on to Creed, which is, again, in another sort of franchise of Rocky movies, which Creed I thought was pretty damn good, especially for like a return to an old franchise. And then he moved on to the MCU, where we got probably one of the biggest MCU films of that era, which was Black Panther. And then he followed that up many years later, post Chadwick's death. Rest in peace, Chadwick Boseman, with Wakanda Forever. And then followed it up with a current movie that we're talking about today, which is a horror film set in the 30s. And this one is Sinners, the big 2025 movie at the moment. We're, 4 or 5 months in? This is the one that everyone's talking about. It has the biggest buzz. It's doing okay in the box office as well. We'll see how it sort of withstands the rest of the year. People are already calling for Academy Awards and yada, yada, yada. This was, again, written, directed, and produced by Ryan Coogler. Completely original from his own dome. So how do we feel about it? Maybe first, have you watched any other Ryan Coogler films? Like, what's your other than maybe?
We've watched, like, we've definitely watched Fruitvale Station years ago. I had no problems with it. I've watched Creed, Wakanda Forever, Black Panther. I guess I've watched his entire
filmography,
at least filmography. So we'll start out with, of course, like we said, Sinners. And here's that little boilerplate I like to start off with, just in case for some reason you're still listening to this and you want it spoiled for you if you haven't watched it. But Dance with the Devil. Trying to leave their troubled lives behind, twin brothers return to their hometown to start again, only to discover that an even greater evil is waiting to welcome them back. How do I feel about? I'm pretty mid on Sinners. Like, I'm honestly cringing at people saying that it deserves an Academy Award. Like,
I mean, maybe for some stuff, like let's say score or like sound design. I think sure you can nominate it. I thought it was fine. I want to say one thing. I think this is important because this movie was made for. I want you to start off with your opinions. I watched it in IMAX. Okay, perfect. So you have a different view because I watched this in a shitty Regal theater here in town. I had a huge issue with like the lighting, and honestly, I've been seeing a lot of shit about the cinematography. I didn't like it that much, and I thought they used too many close, like overly bokeh shots. Like the aperture was all the way fucking open, where you could see just mush of the background. I felt like a lot of the sets didn't even have time to breathe because everything was fucking blurred out. That was, at least, I don't know if it was just my theater, maybe it was the theater's copy, because I'm assuming that there's probably a million different versions of this movie out since it's in a bunch of different formats through IMAX and stuff like that. But that was my experience. It was hard for me to see certain things, especially a movie that, again, is you have to light for different skin tones as well. And this is a predominantly black movie. And it was kind of hard to see in some scenes where it just didn't seem like they lit it correctly. Like there was no like bounce lighting or any fill lighting or anything. That was, again, my problem with it. But outside of that, I will start with more complaints that I have for the movie. I thought it was pretty fucking messy. I thought the pace kind of blew chunks. The first like hour was just all exposition, which again, I'm okay with because you'll probably hear from multiple podcasts ago. That's actually my big problem with a lot of modern movies is that there's not enough exposition, but there's a fine balance. And I thought this one did too much of this, like, hey, here's this character. Hey, here's this character. And at that point is already too much. We're already dealing with two Michael B. Jordans and their fucking backstory, and then their like little love interest, and then their cousin. That's already 5 fucking characters. I don't need to know too much about the Chows, which again, I think that was cool that they introduced a bunch of also different cultures in that area. Again, this is set in the 30s during the Jim Crow era. And this one was specifically set in Mississippi, and Michael B. Jordan's character is coming from, I think, Chicago or whatever. They were fighting the war or something or whatever was going on.
Yeah, it would have been like World War I. I think they went overseas and came back. And
so they're military. Yeah, they're military veterans, and they're coming back home to like make a juke joint. What is like the definition of a juke joint? I guess
I think it's just like a dance hall, unregistered dance hall kind of like club, like bar.
Yeah, specifically came from like an African American vernacular term for an informal establishment. So yeah,
that was because they couldn't own they couldn't own establishments, right? So they would just like buy like a product. Like they did. They bought a sawmill. They turned it into a little juke joint because again, especially with the Capone reference, like they were doing like speakeasy kind of stuff too. Yeah. Like during that, because like Prohibition was, I think, done at this point. I think that was like, cause that would have been 20s into, but regardless, like, yeah, it was just like under the table. Think of under the table bar.
So yeah, they're coming back. They're trying to make a bar, yada, yada, yada. they pick up their cousin who's like a musician, an aspiring guitarist. They sort of introduce like some of the religious aspects of it. The father is a pastor, yada, yada, yada. And then it basically the first hour is them basically setting up for this night of like they're wanting to set this up for the night. And it's just them sort of going throughout town, picking up different cast of characters and stuff like that. So basically introductions, a lot of exposition. You learn a little bit about the history, yada, yada, yada. And then it basically flips to then a horror movie. So it's like this Western like type style movie in the first hour, right? And like visual, I think a lot of the visuals were fine. Like, but I just thought like the backgrounds all looked so muddy to me. I don't know if it was my copy of it. Who knows? And then it turns into like this vampire horror movie once like they introduce some of the white characters in the movie, which when I say it like that, like it seems like now like the movie is going to be about like white man bad. I didn't pick that up at all in this movie.
I mean, the overall theme, right, is cultural appropriation and
assimilation and like culture vulturing
black people losing
and stuff like
their culture, or
but I don't think it was
the people being vultures. Like that was the main thing he was getting at.
Yeah, but I don't think they fully went on this like white man bad thing, because the main like villain also, you can tell like throughout the end of the movie when they are singing and stuff like that. It's also sort of like his culture got assimilated and shit through like Christianity or whatever. Cause you can tell like
he's taking everyone else to his side. I mean, I don't think that it was thought about that deep. I think it was definitely like that was the point, right? Is like the white culture is just taking in all these other cultures. Especially just because like towards the whole ending, I'm going to let you finish your thoughts on it, but like the whole thing. Yeah. I don't think he thought fully on that. I think it was definitely like how not just like the like white people are taking, but like how they're kind of like almost conscripting and taking just like the cultures of everything, of all these other different like cultures and bringing it into their own.
Yeah. So again, in the beginning of the movie too, you sort of get a feeling that like, because the main, other than Michael B. Jordan, is their cousin. What was his name? Sammy. Yeah. So he was like a musician, and like there's like some supernatural elements through the music and stuff like that. And I thought that stuff was pretty neat. Like I thought the music was pretty cool. A lot of the stuff very bluesy and stuff like that. So I thought all that stuff was cool. Michael B. Jordan's like performance was like fine. I didn't think they did too much, in my opinion, to really differentiate the characters. But like I bought into it. So whatever, it was fine. I thought the rest of the subcast was fine too. Like Delta, whatever his name was, I thought he was pretty funny. There was like a lot of good funny moments in this movie. But I think honestly, once it turns into this horror vampire movie, I kind of like backed out of it. Like I didn't think he did any of the horror elements really that well. The vampires felt like the rules didn't really make sense at points, which again, like, are we going to get into this? Like, oh, you have to follow these rules, kinda, to be honest.
Well, he didn't follow his own rules.
If you establish rules, I feel like you need to do it. And then like there's pacing problems I had, especially with the back half, where it just feels like all the cool thematic stuff just never went far enough for like silliness in a way. And like the action, I thought, I don't know, I keep on seeing these comments about the action was like earth shattering. I was like, what the hell are you people watching? The action was so subdued and like felt quick and like over it. And then most of the second half felt like it was just like people coming up to the door to have a conversation. And then they're like, okay, see you later. And then they're all just sort of like chanting out front. And they can easily overpower this crew of like 5 people in the building now. Yeah. And then once the one lady like accepts them in, because that's the rule, right? Which I guess I never knew this rule about vampires.
Yeah, it's a common. It's
where like you have to you have to be invited in
trope. Like, yeah, you have to be invited into the premises.
But I just thought that was like the way they did it just felt weird, and it just didn't feel good. Like it made sense most of the time. Like they almost got rid of that rule halfway through the end half of it, because it seemed like once they started fighting, then you just see them like back off. Like, no, you guys can kill these people easily. There's like they have 5 tools in that fucking barn, and then I don't know. It just sort of transitions into like 5 different endings as well.
Yeah, I'll cut in on my thoughts now.
But yeah, go ahead. I mean, that's just like, kind of my
I want to get all
blast off
yours
my
out
dome,
because like I feel like this movie is suffering from some real big like Coogler hype. I'm just gonna say it. I think Ryan Coogler has it in him. I think there is a lot of just build up around. I would actually say that like Ryan Coogler has like a by name, right? Like, you know, like you could put his name sort of on a byline. Like this movie is by him and he brings seats. He is also, without a doubt, only second to Jordan Peele, one of the most like prominent black directors. Period. Like I can't think of. I even did like while I was like steaming over this.
I would say Barry Jenkins is up there too.
Who?
He did Moonlight. He did.
Yeah, I was gonna bring him up. I just didn't hear what you were saying, but like, yeah, Barry Jenkins is up there, but Barry Jenkins hasn't been doing like he did Mufasa, I guess, but I still, again, that's why I bring up the byline. Like you can say by Ryan Coogler, and you're gonna fill seats in. And I love that people enjoyed this film. I'm always for it. This film is mediocre, in my opinion. I think that I would like to think that Ryan can do better. I know he can. I'm not even saying like Creed is awesome. I liked Fruitvale Station. Black Panther 1, even though the story, part of me didn't want to count like the Black Panther movies because there is a boardroom that is breathing down your neck. I assume on any MCU film, it's definitely present in Wakanda Forever. But hey, who knows? Like I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt, but Black Panther 1 was awesome.
Yeah, so, I mean, I have some complaints about Black Panther 1. Obviously, we've talked about it ad nauseum, but and I think honestly, as a director, I think Wakanda Forever was an impossible task, and I think what he got out of it, completely competent though.
Yeah, I think it was like the best you could do with it. I didn't like it, but I think it's the best you could really do in that situation of losing your headliner. Kind of like losing, again, I bring up the Christopher Nolan losing Heath Ledger. Like that really hampered, I think, what we were going to get for Dark Knight Rises. So, you know, the agility that you need to like make those decisions, especially with films that are in production for years prior to release, really hard. This movie, I say, and what I'm saying is like it's not a good action movie. It's not a good horror movie. You bring up the exposition. My chief complaint, let me rattle off the stuff I liked about it. So what I liked about it, I think the performances were good. Yeah. I think across the board, I think all the performances were good. If people probably don't know, because we haven't talked about really Michael B. Jordan much on here, I classically do not care for Michael B. Jordan as an actor. And I still don't think he's that great. I think he is a Sylvester Stallone type actor. He's like an action movie actor. I think Creed worked really well for him. Oh, yeah. Because that is all he had to really, like, he didn't really have to act too much. Fruitvale Station, I thought was fine. I mean, he was just playing a regular fucking guy. Like he played the part of a black dude in this movie, like whatever it would be, like the scenario very well. I don't think it was a very large reach for him. I would actually, and without looking at his entire filmography, I kind of want to bring that up just to see if I'm overlooking something that maybe I did really enjoy him in. I don't know. He was in Chronicle. I forgot about that. Fantastic. He was also that really bad Fantastic Four. I remember him being in Fahrenheit 4. Either way, I guess in that point, he hasn't really been in anything too outstanding. I mean, Red Tails was that. I think that was George Lucas. Again, not really sold on him as an actor. I think he did pretty well. I have a small complaint about Michael B. Jordan on top of this, by the way, and it's going to sound silly. Just get it out there. I hate how big he's gotten, like physically. He's almost reaching like in his body type, like Rock for me, where it's like they look unrealistic. I mean, that's kind of his. That's him though. Like that's the thing is like I would say him and the Rock. I mean, that's him with fucking steroids after playing Adonis Creed. Yeah,
He didn't
but
look like this.
I'm saying
Black Panther. Well, Black Panther, I think he got big
I
for
was
that.
to say he was pretty fucking jacked for Black Panther.
Okay, pre-Black Panther, like, I don't know. He looks so unrealistic now to me, which good for him.
When
He
you're
looks
an
sick.
actor that's getting paid to like be jacked, like
I'm just
like, that's your
saying
thing.
you're putting yourself in a box at that point where you're not going to get hired for certain roles. I'm sorry. Like, look at fucking what's his name, Drax, like Batista. He's literally gotten smaller because he's noticed that he only gets certain roles because of his size.
Well, I just think he's also getting up there in age. I think I would put.
No, he
like,
specifically said that in his interviews.
Oh.
He says, "I want better roles, pretty much, so I'm losing weight."
Well, I would say for specifically Michael B. Jordan, I would say that like him and The Rock are kind of a good comparison. Where, like, honestly, like you're. I don't think he's up there with the Dwayne Johnson as far as like you're
obviously
getting him to go
not,
there. But well, just like in like you're not putting Michael B. Jordan. You're kind of putting him in a movie to like bring people to his seats, but he doesn't have that draw power of Dwayne Johnson.
No.
He's kind of like I would say typecasted as like the buff badass kind of type. Like it's most of the movies that he's had success in, it was him doing that, and like that's what he's there for. I don't think I think that is detriment to him because I think his acting like kind of shows. Like I don't think you're really hiring him for the acting. And I would say in this one though, because him and Ryan Coogler have worked together multiple times. I think they're boys.
Yeah.
I think all the performances, including his, were good. And I just have to make that concession because all of the complaints I'm going to have about this movie, I'm putting on Ryan. I'm sorry, Coog Dog. Like I've.
What did Coogler do to you, man?
I feel like what else did I like about that was like a big thing for Sinners for me? I think I think it looked fine. I think when people are like, oh, it's like on IMAX, I feel like, bro, this shit's all digital. I think the only person that doesn't do digital is like Christopher Nolan, and it comes in on like, and he still only puts out X amount of film for like certain theaters. Like, I don't know, like IMAX, this shit, like,
That's not my complaint. Digital or not, it's because they're shooting too open and they're not lighting the set.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying now. Yeah.
So everything looks so gross behind them because you can't see detail. And I say this because I was watching. I'm trying to get ahead of the Penny Marshall stuff. So I watched Big yesterday, and I noticed in multiple shots as I was watching it, it's like, yeah, not a lot of this is important, but like at least it's lit in some way that you can tell where the fuck they are.
Yeah. I would go in now that I hate to say it. That's kind of, I think about it now. I think that's like the only real good thing I have to say about this. I don't think I was necessarily bored. So here's my chief complaint. We'll go down the complaints. Chief complaint. You talked about exposition. I agree that there was a lot of exposition. I do think that it was done not well. I would almost say terribly, because we've talked about it before. And I will judge any movie very harshly on this because I love a good book and I'm watching, and I love a good story. If I want to read a story and have it told to me just like through a medium of words, right? I'll read a book. If I go to a movie, I do not want, or my intention is not to have to listen to the story being told to me. I would get an audiobook if I wanted that to happen. This movie, while there is a lot of exposition, relies heavily on, I don't really know a term for it. I'm sure there's one out there, but I call it verbal exposition. And this means that this movie, especially in the first hour, leans almost entirely on the fact that Sammy, Preacher Boy, the younger cousin, has not seen his cousin's Smoke and Stack, played by Michael B. Jordan, in 7 years. So for this whole hour, you just have Smoke and Stack and Sammy talking to random people throughout town and themselves just explaining and setting up everything. We don't use the visuals. We don't use the visual medium to like kind of infer or do anything. It is just an hour of Sammy being caught up to speed, Sammy catching Smokestack up to speed, Sammy, Smokestack, and all them running into someone random to get them up to speed. And at that point, I asked myself, why am I watching a movie? Why am I watching it? What are you doing to, and right maybe someone is listening to this and is like, oh, how can you do that? Like and I'm like, I don't know, figure it out. You're getting paid millions of dollars. He actually, like, this is your movie. Make it fucking work. You're a director, right? Talk with your cinematographer. How can we imply this or have someone infer this instead of us just having dialogue explain everything, right? So that was and that was present through the whole movie. It was just the worst at the beginning. But it had to happen. Next, I'm just going to come off and rip the Band-Aid off. I think Ryan Coogler thinks his audience is fucking retarded. I'm just going to say that. If you watch Sinners, I think that Ryan Coogler thinks you're fucking retarded. And I'm in that pool. I think he thinks
I'm going to have to mute you saying that word.
Oh, is that really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. My bad. Well, then we'll replace it with me saying stupid.
We'll just start from Ryan Coogler. Go ahead.
Yeah. So if you watch this movie, here's the thing. I think that Ryan Coogler, if you went and watched this movie, I think he thinks that the audience is stupid. That's that. I think he thinks that.
Yeah.
And that's including me. Why?
The way it was written, yeah.
The way it was written. But there is one, he did this a couple of times. The worst culprit of this was the exchange between, I believe it was Annie. That was Smoke's baby mama / wife. I don't think they were married. I think they were just like boyfriend girlfriend. Like they had a thing going on. Like, we don't know. We know that they had a kid.
They're like exes or something. Yeah.
Yeah, and he came back and they just like were right back into it. So, which that felt really weird. Not weird. Like, I understand that they just fell back into it, but like someone ditches you for 7 years, you come back and now we're back into it because like we're irresistible. Very weird scenario, but I'm into it. I want a love story. Let's just get to it. So they had lost a child. They established this in the first hour of the movie, as I'm telling you, when they have the verbal exposition, because in the first part, he goes up to a little headstone, like a cemetery, right? And you see like a little stone with the baby's handprint on it. You see like all these like little heirlooms to like dedicate or like, effigies or of sorts for the baby where it's buried. Okay, cool. I'm pretty sure everyone can infer from that point that probably a baby died, right? Like something died here. The things that I think there was like some milk, maybe some mother's milk that they just like left in there, or they keep milk out there for the baby, just spiritually, right? I was watching this as Smoke is waiting or about to approach Annie, and he's paying like his respects to it. I was like, this seems like a kid. He walks in. They do talk about it and they're like, oh yeah, well, after we lost our baby. And it's like, okay, I kind of see why you like confirmed it, but I'm pretty sure you did a pretty good job telling me prior that it was a baby. But like, hey, dialogue, I get it. We've already been doing a lot of verbal exposition. Now we go into where, I guess, no pun intended, but all hell breaks loose. And Annie is not only she cooks. It looks like she runs like a little restaurant, like hospitality, kind of like a little out of her house. Cause like you could see on the window where she had like prices for food, but it sounds like she does a lot of like, I would say witchcraft, but like,
I think she's like an apothecary or something, right?
You kind of like, yeah, like an apothecary kind of type. She's definitely the spiritual element in this movie.
But she's getting hired to cook for the night.
And she's getting hired to cook for the night. I do remember seeing on her window that there was prices for food as well, like dishes that she makes. So she does something like that.
Yeah.
So he was hiring her to come cook catfish and stuff. Awesome. As the vampire threat is coming, she is the vehicle that, tells them how to combat vampires after they confirm that it's vampires. Cause they were calling them hates, I think. I forget what it was before, but anyway, she's describing to it. There's like a montage of just like, hey, we need to get steaks. We need to do this, yada, yada. And then her and Smoke have a moment during this montage where she's like, hey, I need you to promise me that like whatever happens, like you'll kill me because like vampires don't die. Like your soul is in their body. And I can't do that. Like, and he's like, oh, I don't know if I could do that. And she's like, honey, I just want you to know, like, there's someone waiting for me on the other side. Like there's someone waiting for both of us on the other side. Like if it comes down to it, which is like, okay, I get it. Cause we know that they had a baby. Right. But then of course, during this conversation, because we're stupid, right? We don't know. We haven't been paying attention to this movie because we do live in a world of like where attention spans are going through the fucking ground. Then they have to go and give you like a 2 or 3 second shot back to the headstone, like where the baby was buried at, because we just didn't remember it. And I just felt very offended by that. I'm like, as a viewer, I'm like, why did we even go back? Did you think I forgot that they had a kid together, like this moment? Like, why did you feel like you had to explain it? And he does that a couple of times. That was just the most egregious one.
That's I picked up on that the same shit. Yeah.
And I was just like, why are we doing this? Like, what is your thing right now, Ryan? Why are you trying to do this? Like, why? Like, you're better than this. Like, do you think I'm stupid? So what else? The horror stuff I thought was like really derivative. Not derivative in like a good way though. It was like derivative, like taking like little things from other movies that I think were just made better. Like, I know you don't like, I think you're like pretty mid on Dr. Sleep, but like, tell me the eye thing was not like very Dr. Sleep, or even you could even stretch it and say The Thing. Cause like whenever they did the garlic thing, you know, with very much like The Thing with the blood and the hot copper, but also there's a moment, it's one of the coolest features in The Thing. And why I think, again, this whole like storytelling, visual storytelling, they're trying to find in The Thing, they're trying to find in that movie during this scene where they have the hot copper and everyone gives a little bit of their blood, who the Thing is, because if they try to harm any part of the Thing, including their blood, they will react. There's a really cool moment where you see all of the men lined up waiting for the test. It's very, very tense. And you see light in their eyes, this little light, like little dot of light. But then the person who is not, human has their head down. They keep it down on purpose so he has no light in his eyes. He's sort of lightless. He doesn't have the spark of life in him, right? Very cool storytelling. And it's like foreshadowing that you don't usually pick up. You wouldn't pick up on the first time, but like going back and seeing that the cinematography and how they did that, that's super interesting. So I kind of felt like he was kind of going with that with the garlic thing. And I thought the garlic thing was like, it was fine. But then again, like the whole featuring like the glinting in their eyes, like that just felt like it was almost ripped right out of Dr. Sleep, right? Because they were also like, they were vampires too, right? Like they were just like, they sucked your soul away or some shit like that in that movie. But it wasn't like done that well. That's the thing. And also, I think also I hated the fucking ending. As much as I think I think movies that include shooting and killing and murdering a bunch of Ku Klux Klan members, we should celebrate that. And that's why it pains me to say that it felt gratuitous. It felt like it out of place. There's a lot of parts where it just felt like some things just fell out of place. This was probably the most egregious one. I also didn't like Sammy's. I loved the beginning and then the ending shot of Sammy's eulogy, I call it, like where he was like playing and he attracted the vampires because of the passion and the magic in his song, which is kind of another part of this was like those songs and like that emotion is what heals people. That's why like they're in this juke, because it's an escape from the oppressions that they're experiencing. And his music, the blues, like blues in general, was their way of catharsis of getting rid of that. So
and
to
a way
bring in the whole
take
like montage. Yeah.
I was gonna say the music was also important because it's like a cultural and generational thing too. It's like something that gets passed down and it's powerful because I mean, we have to talk about in the middle right now is like the big scene that I think everyone's going to talk about in the barn or whatever, of the transition where it's like going around, you can see all the cool like cultures and shit like that. And the way the music really like, I think that message and that theme was the only truly cool part of the movie. And then it just becomes messy.
More on that.
Oh, you didn't like it?
I like this is a part where like I understand where Ryan was getting at, like what we were talking about and how like it affects the past. We are the past, like they are the past and the present. Like we all are. Like we are the stories that we keep.
Yeah.
And I think that is something that transcends just race, right? And the unfortunate part is that like cultural appropriation is the thing. And the stories that they had, especially blues. And I think this came more through when I was like more into music, especially like, cause I'm a guitar player. I play guitar and, you start to learn about blues and you do the blues is rooted in in Black history, but like specifically it was like their way of coping. It, like its roots are in like the oppression that they suffered. It was like the catharsis that like blues was born out of the tragedy of Black people. That's that.
And how many different music after that got, it was stolen from that. Yeah.
I feel like everything, like I think the blues is so important. I think it represents, and it was a seed for just modern rock, like in general, like up and down, like so many different genres too. I think it's one of those, but to not go down a tangent of just like blues, I think that bringing not the theme, but that moment of like, oh, it's our past and our present, and bringing in like those examples and taking that moment took me out of the movie, the story that's being talked about. Cause now we're in a completely different like movie at this point. Like it felt like to me, like this almost feels like it could have been a commercial for like, it felt like we paused the movie and what was going on. I feel like the way I think you should have just celebrated Sammy at that moment playing the blues. Like that's why I say like the beginning, like him starting it was really good. And then the ending shot, whenever the walls of the barn are brought down and you see the vampires looking into it. Damn, Ryan, like you cooked on that shot. Like I thought that was awesome. To bring in like the electric guitars and like the tribal music, it's like, I get what you're saying is like, we are all at the same time, the past, present, and future, but the way it was executed, I think was not that great. Well, I thought it was like, it just took me out so hard.
But within the context of the movie, sure, I'll agree with you. Like, it felt out of place in a way.
Yeah, and that's what I'm trying to say. Like in the context of the movie, it feels out of place, and I get what he's trying to go for. It's just, visually, I just felt like we hit a pause button and now I'm watching a fucking
music
commercial, like a music video. I'm like, what? And then like, so that's why I'm saying like, it's not that I didn't dislike it being, I disliked it being in there in that context. And he did a fine job, with it, like as he did it, but it felt like it didn't fit. And that goes to the point of like, there's just parts that didn't fit. And this is where I'm going to go back to massacring Ku Klux Klan members, which should just be cool. That's what bothers me is I should be down with that. I am down with that. I'm very down with that, but it did not fit in this movie. At the ending, I think there was a really good ending already there for Sammy and Smoke. And I thought about this for way too long. I think the gratuitous action scene that we just put Smoke in to kill a bunch of Klan members was just like, why? Like, I understand he's having everything taken from him. And it's like the only purpose that scene served was to mortally wound Smoke. That was the only thing it did. Because you could say it's a payoff because Bert, I think it was his name, the head vampire told him, the head vampire told him that Bert, the guy that they ran into, like his dad's the head dragon, they're going to come take your stuff. Okay. So I kind of see maybe in the logic of being like, we have to pay this off because we did bring it up. I really think I'm going to paint a scene for you. I think this one would have been superior personally. I think at this ending scene, we have Smoke sitting on what we find out to be a bunch of guns. Like he's sitting on a box, he's trying to roll in a cigarette and he can't roll the cigarette, right? He's like, either he's out of it, he's like dumped it, whatever. I think the shot that we should have had, and I really think, Ryan, I think you should have done this. Straight on shot that they had, because they had this shot where he's just like straight on, sitting on the box, rolling up a cigarette and just kind of like gathering his wits, right? Keep that shot and just hold it. Now in the background, instead of bringing an army of Ku Klux Klan members, you just bring like 4. You bring like 3. You bring the head guy and 3 other guys, and they're out of focus. You kind of know, you're not sure what's going on, but like, something is not going to be good. They get out of the car. They start walking towards, they're still out of focus. Then they finally come up. As they get closer, they come into focus. You notice that it is the KKK, like the Grand Dragon or whatever. And he's like, oh shit. But Smoke is just staring off straight into the camera the whole time. And then the Grand Dragon guy is talking about how he's like, oh, well, he's like, Club Juke, what's that? That's so crazy. Oh, it looks like you had a good night, but he doesn't give a shit. Smoke doesn't care. He's just staring it off. And then what we do is we do a 180 shot straight to what he's looking at. What he's looking at, because he's so distraught, is Annie, and is like the same scene, like Annie in her white gown with their child, right? And he's just staring at that, and that's all he cares about, because he's just like imagining this, right? Or not even imagining. He's just like at this point. And they're staring at each other. The Grand Dragon's going off about, like how you can't have this, I just, it's a shame you did this, whatever, but it doesn't matter. And then Annie gives her line where she's like, hey baby, like we're waiting for you. Like, hey, how about you put out that cigarette and I'll let you hold them. And then at that point, I think that the Grand Dragon should just put a bullet in his head, because the whole point is it's cultural appropriation, right? Like we're talking about how like essentially, like not essentially, but like white Americans, Caucasian Americans have appropriated and taken everything from marginalized communities. So why not go full into just taking it from them and then really sitting on that? And then the only relief, and honestly, like to Smoke, what mattered in that moment was just like being with his lover and his child, right? I think they should have done that, because like the whole like we're doing an action movie in the last 5 minutes put me off so hard, dude. Like I was like, what the fuck are we even doing? And then that doesn't even touch on like the very, very ending, which I thought was just cool. Like they're still alive, which breaks the logic, I think, of vampires, because they established that the head vampire doesn't need to die for those to catch up, what I'm talking about, his brother Stack turns into a vampire. Haley Steinfeld, vampire. They run off on their own, but they were all transformed by the main, well, I'll call Red Eyes because I cannot remember his name. The main vampire. Now Stack was transformed by Haley, but Haley was transformed presumably by the main guy. All of them were transformed by him indirectly. The problem here, though, is that at the end, when Smoke and Sammy are saving themselves, Sammy hits Remnick in the head with his guitar. And there apparently is silver in it or something, because it hits him in the head and it's like hurting him. And all of the other vampires react to this. Like they've all been injured by him getting hit in the head. I don't know if you remember that, but like at the very end, like Remnick gets hit in the head and they are all in unison, like hurting from this, which they also put before, like that's not supposed to happen. So I'm like, we're breaking rules now. Okay, cool. What's happening? But then, Remnick is about to kill Sammy. And then out of nowhere, Smoke runs up and stabs Remnick in the heart with a stake, killing him. And now the sun is coming up at the same time, but all the other vampires are reacting to it. So are they all dying? Now they do stay out into the sunset, but also if they knew the sun was coming up, wouldn't they leave? It's like, this is where we talk about, like, I don't care if you break the rules of vampires in general. I care if you break the rules for your own vampires that you have written. And at that point, I'm like, I don't know what's going on, because then at the very end, there's another ending where old Sammy runs into Stack and Mary, I think her name was. Yeah. And they were unscathed. They didn't suffer at all, which everyone else seemed like they did. It wasn't implied, like it wasn't communicated well to me or the other viewers, or just to me. We'll just say to me. It was not communicated to me as a viewer very well how it was supposed to work. And then they just like waltz into like a present day scenario. And then they're like, hey, Sammy, what's up? I didn't kill you. And then I'll end that with saying,
making that a post-credit scene is silly. Like, why would you?
It was very silly. It shouldn't have even. Personally, I don't think it should have even been in there. But like, it was silly nonetheless. But then I remember that this man also had to remind me like 3 times that Stack or Smoke had a kid, because like I'm stupid. Because of me, the viewer, my experience, I was watching this and I was like, man, I think Ryan thinks I'm stupid. So those are like the biggest things. I do not understand the only way I can rationalize the hype around this movie being like some like 4 or 5 star like Academy worthy movie is simply out of hype for Ryan Coogler. I'm sorry, because I compared this to Get Out, which Get Out is another movie that kind of is touching on cultural appropriation, right? Like these people are trying to take, so I guess Get Out spoilers, but if you haven't watched it by this time, dog, like it's been almost 10 years. Wouldn't you say that Get Out is also a dialogue on cultural appropriation?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely like about racial tension and cultural appropriation, exploitation. Well,
specifically because these white people want to, and these people want to be in, like, to take over like these black bodies. Like they're being like their youth is being, they are transferring themselves to like black bodies, right? So like they're taking that, and I guess, but I maybe it's not straight on cultural appropriation, but I think it was trying to talk about a lot of similar things. And I keep thinking about like how Get Out was so much more elegant and just did it so much, was able to communicate its story and everything it was about through a visual medium, where this movie just fumbled drunkenly trying to do it, in my opinion. Right. Like we talk about the moment where Daniel Kaluuya, his character has to like pick cotton, right? Where to save himself, which they allude to, right? They show that there's like cotton, like there's where it's worked up on the seat. I mean, I remember there being a shot of that, but he stuffs his ears with the cotton that like, his ancestors had to pick, right? And then that's what saves him and gets him out of his scenario. If I'm convinced now, if Ryan Coogler would have been writing that same scene, he would have had Daniel Kaluuya say that exact thing I just said to an open room with no one in it. He would have like seen that and just be like, oh yeah, by the way, like I'm going to pick cotton like my ancestors and put it in my ears. So no, I can't hear what the TV is going to tell me. I think if you compare who I think is not only one of the, this is past race. Jordan Peele is one of the best directors we have, especially when it comes to horror and sci-fi.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. I mean, his writing is so infinitely better than the Sinners movie. It's not even like close. Like the writing is so tight and it's so clever. Yeah. There's so many like random like build up to things, and you always get paid off later. Like there's so many little like Chekhov guns in this and Get Out that like this movie doesn't even fucking compare. And the performances are better. It's not like the writing is not like, oh, hey, here's this thing. Here's this theme, by the way. Like it lets the audience actually think. In Sinners, it just feels like, here's this theme. Let me tell you about it a couple times and let me build on it a couple more times and let me keep on repeating it. And let me have some fucking conversations and some more doors that's poorly lit. And let's have more conversations and exposition. In this movie, like Get Out just felt like a movie that was just perfectly dressed.
Like, yeah, and I think to the point of like Sinners and Jordan Peele, I just think that Sinners, because you even brought up the music, man, and I thought the music was out of place a lot of times. I know this wasn't necessarily being a period piece, but I was like, and it had what's his name, Gordson on it.
Ludwig Göransson.
Ludwig, and I was like, man, what the fuck were these choices? I was just thinking, I was like, why is this like, it just felt out of place. There were so many, I guess maybe that's the best way of saying like my feelings on Sinners. I didn't hate it. No, by no means. I don't feel like I wasted my time, but so many times throughout this movie, I thought to myself, man, why do they not want me to be engaged with it? It almost felt like there's so many different things going on. It could have been a goddamn like TikTok inspired like film. Like, we have to change shit up like so many times to keep your attention. And like, we're afraid you forgot it.
It's like, funny you say that. That's my conspiracy theory about some of the fucking writing in this movie. Like the Haley Steinfeld lines and shit about like licking her pussy and stuff, which By the way, shout out to Ryan Coogler making Cunnilingus like popular again. Good job.
Actually, shout out to that and bring him give him big ladies some love because
I said the same thing too, dude. She was
Annie,
fine.
I was like, he could have just gotten I don't know, but he was like, no, we're gonna get us a big girl.
And she's the first sexy in the movie, dude.
Hell yeah, hell yeah. So shout outs to that. Bonus points, right?
Yeah, it's still. Just like it just. First off, I thought because vampires and like sex and like sexiness go hand in hand, and I felt like that also with a lot of the other,
that's a thing.
Which I don't think was like super prevalent in this movie. Like the sexiness I thought was pretty mild. Like I told you, my instant review after I watched it was like, I don't think he went far enough at all, and I felt like each of the little points of this movie, the different genres he was trying to blend never went far enough, and I think he was.
I was wondering what you meant by that because I was puzzled by what you meant by like. It's not like
the sexiness wasn't enough. It didn't go far enough. The action didn't go far enough. The
horror didn't go far enough.
Yeah, the horror didn't go far enough, or like the tension building definitely did not. Because really, tension and horror like hand in hand. Like horror is all about tension
I didn't
building.
feel like tense about anything. I'll bring up Warfare. I watched Warfare last week. That movie had me. I want you to watch it. I think you would really like it because as far as tension goes, from the moment that they're like in the house, you're thinking something's going to go off and happen. And the entire time, it's not a horror movie, right? It's a war movie, but in that same genre, you go through and have like this air of tension that just you're waiting for it to snap, and it doesn't, and it doesn't, and it doesn't. And I didn't touch on this in my original like thing of Warfare, but I loved the ending of it because the ending, they just get out and then he just leaves it on. Alex leaves the camera on, and you just see like the Al Qaeda, like the Al Qaeda like troops just standing there, like, what do we do now? Like they just like it's over. Like it's just like this happened. They left, and it was just like another Tuesday. But it was also this huge release for the tension I've been experiencing for the last hour and a half. It gave me a moment as a viewer to just be like, oh, like it's done. It's cool. And then you just cruise it out. Sorry, I just wanted to. I never got that.
I never got that. Like, as you were, I never got that as Sinners, right? Like, there was never a moment. Like, I guess when
jump
like
scares,
when the one like the Mr. Chow had to like go out and but all that stuff like it never happens.
You knew it was going to happen.
It never gets paid off after the fact either. It's like
like you knew what was going to happen as soon as you
like why not make
it's
like,
not like there was no mystery. There was not enough mystery to what was having to come on.
It's like why are they not telling us to like go get a key outside or something so they have to like sneak out or something like that? Because really all that happens is once they assimilate to the group outside, all they're doing is like singing out. That's all they're doing. There's no like they could have literally just stayed in the barn all night and nothing happened.
Yeah, that's the thing too. It's like they could have. That's the crazy
all
part.
That they had to do. They just had to wait.
They literally just had to wait in the barn. So I guess it does have that in common with most like 80s horror where they just don't do the thing. But I do, when they brought up the Lisa thing with her daughter, was it Mrs. Chow's daughter? It kind of made sense why, like, because her husband was out there too, right? So he could have went and tricked her into like inviting them in, and then she would have been, toast. But to that point, they also could have just not went outside once they confirmed that it was a vampire. Like they knew the rules, and they were listening to Annie. Yeah, man, I understand the only hype that I think this movie has right now is that it's a Michael B. Jordan, Ryan Coogler film. And I really think that people are going to watch this and love it. And I love that for you. But if we're going to start talking about like Academy Award nominations, homie.
No.
Homie.
There's not a performance in this movie. I'm like, wow, I was blown away. There's not a shot in this movie. I'm like, wow, that was like on the level of like a Dune or like I haven't seen The Brutalist, but let's say The Brutalist who won last year or a Nora or something like that. Like there's not a shot in here that I'm like overly impressed with. They were good. They were fine. Like, and that's the problem. Like this movie was just good. It was fine. It wasn't exceptional. There wasn't a genre that it tackled that was over any other movie in that genre that it's like above that. I don't think it blended it well. The themes I thought were great. Like thematically, I thought there were so many good themes that it was tackling, but I don't think it ever went far enough to really fully tackle those. And I think he was just juggling too much. I think even in a way, like the secondary cast I thought was too big. You might as well just decrease the cast list and make them interact more, because then like there was also a moment like when they did the final fight, is like there weren't that many people in the barn after the fact, and then it felt like there were so many people.
Got whooped, bro. Like there's like a whole army. I don't care who it is. Like where were those? Oh, they said they had lost them. I remember they left him behind. I remember because they were asking like, where's the crate during the movie. I was like, where's that BAR when you needed it? That Tommy gun when you needed it. It's like, oh, he had made a comment that they forgot to bring it. But what I'll say is like, I think Judas and the Black Messiah won like a few Oscars. I think it looked like 5. I was going to say, if Judas and the Black Messiah didn't win anything and people were trying to stand Sinners for an award, like absolutely not. Because I mean, I would give
because I watched another okay, so if we're going to talk about other black directors, I watched a movie this year from last year, Nickel Boys from Ramel Ross.
Oh yeah,
wow. That was based off of like true, like it was inspired by a true story and stuff like that, but at least had like an inventive cinematography in a way, like not like it was done in first person. You don't get a lot of those type of movies nowadays, but it was done to do so well, and it like transitioned to other characters really well. It visually looked stunning. And I just didn't get that. I didn't get that out of this one. Was there like a single shot in Nickel Boys that like blew me away? Not really. There was a couple that like were pretty neat. The idea
of like the challenge of doing it first person, I think, for
and
me,
it succeeded at it. And it like you get over it pretty quick, and you're like, okay, I'm into this. This is awesome. This one, I never got behind. I never got behind most of the things that were happening because, again, I just don't think it went far enough in one way. And I feel like if he just took away the vampires, it would have been fine. Or just like maybe it also needed to be cut down further, by the way. Like, yeah, it was like 2 hours, but it could have been you could have done the first hour in 30 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, if you didn't feel like you needed to tell the audience everything, and you actually just like inferred through the scene what was going on, probably. But like, and I think my walking away from this movie, I think that I think what's happening is, I think what's really happening, right? Nothing wrong with it. Actually, it's great. I think one part is, celebrating the prominent black director, Ryan Coogler. And I think Ryan Coogler is worth the celebrating. Absolutely. I want Ryan Coogler to make more movies. I just want him to make something that's better than this.
An original, right? This is important.
I love it. Yeah, I love that this is an original movie. I'm out here, and I will take what I consider to be to like a mediocre, not mediocre, that's a little too harsh, but an average original movie any day of the week over something that's just like
the current slop out there.
Just, like schlock, right? Like by no means, I am by all means like supportive of this. And I didn't hate it. Like I think like, I walked away. I was entertained. I think things were going on, but there were some like glaring issues that I just was like, man, Ryan's better. Like Ryan puts out better work. Like he's again, I kind of wish he would have brought in like Jordan, like him and Jordan Peele have got to be talking, right? Like where, like some of the writing and the dialogue was just like not great. Like, was there someone that we could have just like brought in? I would actually love to see something between like a collaboration between Ryan and Jordan. Maybe like, I think Ryan is not like the best writer. Hot take, but I think maybe him directing and focusing on that, but like having like, if we're going to do, I want like a Jordan Peele written like script and screenplay. I want Ryan behind the camera directing the action and everything. Let's get a collaboration there. That would be interesting, but I'm not saying like he can't do it. I'm just like, man, this movie could have been a lot more. And I'm not trying to hate on it. I'll go ahead and say my recommendation. Would I recommend it? Yeah, sure. I think I would recommend it. I think for a general audience that doesn't care about the stuff we're complaining about, you probably like it. But there's also but you gotta call it an orange is an orange. You know what I mean? Like you gotta call it when you see. I'm not gonna stay here and just stand something that I think I expected more from Ryan. And But would I recommend it? Yeah, I think I do think in the IMAX experience, I thought it was fun. Like I don't think the sound was the best. It's nothing compared to Warfare. Like a week between, there's no comparison to like Warfare and IMAX, and then this and IMAX. Warfare, another example of using sound to convey and gauge and manage tension. Like the sound in that movie, like, or the lack thereof, right? The absence of sound. Everything was done so intentionally in that movie. And it was just a story in a room, right? This movie, Sinners, wanted to be so many things and didn't really follow through on any of them, in my opinion. I feel bad because people are loving it. Someone's going to listen to this right now. And they're like, you're just being too critical of this. It's like, I'm sorry. It's kind of like what I say in my book reviews. Actually, Jess was telling me about it. I was like, hi, I'm Ian and it matters to me. I know it doesn't matter, but it matters to me. And I'm sorry. I'm going to come out and say like, Ryan, I want to see a horror film from you. I want you to come up with an original horror story, and I want you to be comfortable with it being just a horror story. Another video I've been doing on my channel is a creative writing thing. And one thing I've kind of, after a couple of these exercises I've done, is scope. Actually thinking about, like, I'm mostly writing short stories, right? And so I go in, I get a theme, or I get a prompt from a GPT that I made, and it just tells me what to write. It gives me a little quick synopsis, the genre, and then a word count. You kind of have to like put up some guardrails. You have to be like, hey, I want it to be like an hour and a half, 2 hours. How much story do I need to commit to like exposition? How much of that time like you only have 120 minutes, we'll say, to convey your story. How much of it do you want to put into exposition? Because I'll tell you right now, an hour of it is kind of rough. I think on principle, I think if you're spending 50% of the movie to set up the second half of the movie, big dog, we gotta like, come on, like you gotta let it breathe somehow. Cause like, what makes horror so great is like, yeah, the tension, the looming dread, the threat that is outside of this barn. We could have done a lot with that barn for an hour and a half. We really could have. We could have done some great things with it. We could have had, I don't know, you could have, I know, like you could have had, like, again, trying to figure out how to defeat the vampires, trying to figure out that they are vampires, right? No one knew what was going on. The confusion adds to that dread. It adds to that looming threat, right? People are just coming up missing. Where did Mary go? I have no clue, right? Where did Cornbread go? I don't know. Right. Just like, where are they going? Like, why are these weird things happening outside of it? But we didn't. Ryan, I love that you have this success. I also love that you're going to own this in like 25 years. That was like a huge deal.
I read about that.
Yeah. Where he actually worked out a deal. That feels like a bad bet on,
it's a one-off, I guess I was reading.
Yeah, no, it's usually like 50 years or something, but I don't think they had much faith in this like popping off the way it did. But I mean, I love that people are enjoying it. I'm loving that it's bringing people back into the theaters. I actually wanted to say that I think Sean Baker would be very proud of you and I as far as the last couple of weeks. And I think he's very proud of, again, an original movie with an original story. While it might be derivative, everything's derivative, but like it was an original story from a fantastic director that is, I think, opening up the genre to more Black directors. I think that's the biggest thing. He's spearheading a way to try to make a landing for other directors and other, just not even directors, but just other, I would even go as to say just like other people of color, like, cause we were incorporating like, the Asian demographic in this too. But I just think in general, just trying to create a wider berth or a landing for people for again, like young directors of color to try to come into the space. So we absolutely are going to celebrate and try to support that. I can support something that I didn't necessarily enjoy because I know it's important, right? This movie and supporting movies like this in general is important to keep theaters to keep the movie theater open, to keep new creative ideas flowing. But Ryan, you can do better. this movie is not your best.
Yeah, I'm glad you just said all the stuff about the theater and the importance of him like directing a movie like this, because I was actually going to preface my review that way, because I agree. Like it's great that this is a fully original, written, produced, directed by him. He had some weird freaking deal with the distributors and the production companies for this, and I think it's awesome. Like, and he's been working with his boy Michael B. Jordan. Like, you got The Friend in there, and like Michael B. Jordan's also working on his own directorial career as well, so that's great to see. I think Creed 3 is my least favorite Creed, to be honest, and he's the one that directed that and wrote it.
Oh, so. Did he? I was gonna say it's the worst. I didn't even know he did. Yeah, Creed 3 is honestly, Creed 1's
it's the only good one.
It's the only good one.
It's the only good one. Like, you can say it's the only good one.
Creed 1 is fantastic.
I think Creed 3 is rough. I did not like it. But yeah, I think it's fantastic. Like there's so many great like black directors out right now, and I'm glad that he got, what did he get for this? A budget of $100 million. Like, that's pretty good, and I think he did a lot for this movie for $100 million. This is shot on IMAX.
Yeah.
And it looks great. And he had a big time like music guy with Ludwig. Like it. I like this movie. Like I think maybe it might be one of those movies that we might need a couple watches on. So I'm excited to watch it again at home. Maybe.
I don't think I'll have like a couple watches and really change my opinion too much.
Oh, I don't think it would be like crazy, but yeah, maybe I'll pick up some stuff.
I still, again, I can, and I think everyone needs to like kind of hear something like this, but like you can support things.
Yeah.
You can appreciate what they are. You can also not jive with them 100%. Like for me though, I say this is like Sinners is a pretty average movie to me at best. I don't think it's like, I said some scathing things and I think they're valid. Like, I think like my opinion of this movie, which is again, my opinion, these are our opinions. You might have different ones. Let me know down below. Like we can discuss it. And
it's how we interact with this, by the way. Yeah, like this is how we watch movies and how we interact with different movies.
This is our experience. And those experiences with the film are completely valid. But I can also, and we can all also recognize that this is an important movie. This is a very important movie because again, theaters are dying and it sucks. I love going to the movie theater.
Love it. Yep.
Part of why they're dying is because there is just a mass push for just content, which is, just stuff that, hits a budget and then just gets sent out there.
And this is not content.
Like some big new. This is not content. This is a thoughtful, movie. This is an original story from a great director. I still think Ryan Coogler is a great director. But it is not his best. I wanted more from it. I expected more.
I agree, yeah.
And that's fine.
Yeah.
But it is an important movie to just go and support so we can, again,
for sure,
keep original movies. I want original IP. I don't want another fucking Marvel film, even though I kind of want to watch Thunderbolts. But also, kind of out of principle, maybe I won't. But if I'm going to watch it, I'll see it in a theater because at least I can go and give the theater some money.
Yeah.
But we're going to keep getting just soulless content that it's going to shutter these places where people just connect and enjoy like being away from the hustle and bustle or the hardship of existing in this mortal coil, right? Just life, especially in such a time where life is kind of scary sometimes, especially the older you get. And I just love that it was an original film. Yeah. I have my thoughts about it. It could have been better. Yeah, I'm still glad it exists.
I just thought,
I'll go see every movie that comes out.
I'm excited for his next one.
Well, not even just his, just any original movie that is coming out and trying to be there. Like, I want to be in the theater to see it. I really do. And Ryan Coogler, you keep putting him out. I'm going to keep watching him. I'm going to keep coming on here and giving you my thoughts on it. I hope that, hey, Ryan, this goes out to every director. I said before, if you want to come and talk to us about it, we can do it. It doesn't even have to be, we can just have a discussion offline, right? It doesn't even have to be on the podcast. You want to come up here and talk about it because you don't like our thoughts? Hey man, we'll talk about it. You can explain it to us. I would love to be a voyeur, or not voyeur. I would love to be someone or enable you to talk and tell me about what your vision was. I want to know what your vision was with a lot of this. But I'm not going to pull my punches either. We'll have a discussion, but I'm still glad you made the movie. I really am.
Yeah, just overall, I just thought it was the pacing was bad. I thought it was a little messy, and just too many genres trying to balance overall. But I still liked it. I think you should watch it. That's about it. We're done with Sinners.
Done with Sinners.
Done. Awesome. Let's go, Cougs.
Are you still here? Have you liked, commented, and subscribed yet?
Yeah,
the episode's almost over. If you haven't done any of those things by now, what are you doing with your life? What are you even doing? That's the ad. It's over.
Can I okay, I'm not completely done with Sinners because I got one. I just found this on Reddit. I'm sorry. I just want, because this pissed me off as soon as I read it. Because someone just said, this is Coogler's Blade Runner or Alien.
Yeah.
I always thought he was this generation's Ridley Scott with his visual composition, production design, and photography.
I can't, dude. I can't. I fucking can't. I couldn't disagree with a comment more.
Are you fucking kidding me?
I could not disagree with a comment more. This is what I'm talking about. Like, I love that the zeitgeist is here. I'm glad people are out here supporting it and they're loving it. I just don't understand. You know what? I kind of see why he explained all that stuff about the kid now, because we really are stupid. That's
because I was gonna say earlier too. I was like, there was certain like little dialogue points when I was like, they're writing this just to get buzz on the internet. Like all the Haley Steinfeld lines felt like they just wanted something buzzy. Because I've already, like, before I even watched the movie, I already saw like the pussy line and all like the sexy lines, and then that's the only like sexiness of the movie. That's it.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, close enough to Ridley Scott, who was like, I'm pretty sure he started as like a photographer or some shit.
There's no way that this is anywhere near Alien.
No.
This movie, the dream of the best version of this movie is nowhere near Alien.
No, because I think people are going to forget about this movie in a year. I'm guaranteeing it right now. I don't think this is. I'm going to call it right now. This movie is not going to get brought up in a year.
All right, so we'll do a check-in on this day,
because this is technically this will be post Oscars 2026.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't think it's getting nominated.
If it gets nominated, I'm sorry, but like
Ludwig will get nominated. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah,
he will get nominated.
Yeah, he'll get nominated. It won't be deserving if he wins.
Do you not think Coogler will get nominated?
No.
Okay, here's the thing though. This might. This is my Hollywood brain. If there is another director of color that has a better movie than this, they will get directed over him, and there's going to be drama, yada yada yada. But if this is I think he'll get nominated if this is like the biggest, because like they need their token movie. Unfortunately,
that is true. Like there will be part of that. I think that.
And I hate to say this about this movie because this is not your traditional token movie or whatever you want to call. Like I'm going to call it. I'm just labeling it that. And again, this is not what my feelings are. This is
the Academy.
In the brain of Academy. Yeah.
Like the Academy brain is. I mean, we just literally there was that article that was like, you have to watch the movies before you vote, which is like so fucking surreal to me that like people can vote on movies they just never watched.
Also, this is a horror film, by the way, and those don't get a lot of respect at Academy Awards, because if Hereditary didn't get nominated, I don't want to fucking see this movie get nominated.
I think I do think what will happen is like, unfortunately, like the way that the Academy works is like there's going to be like, where's the token black movie? Unfortunately, like they're gonna, because like it degrades what this movie is doing, right? It's just to like give it a fucking like a spot just because they needed to fill that. And I do see like maybe that's where the thing is though, is like that's where it comes into like what is the other movie like actually better, right? Like what like delineates that, because now you're making like a subgenre of two movies that are being discussed right Now you're like, oh, these two black directors came out with a movie. Which one's better so they can get a spot? But really, if they're both good movies, they should just be up there, right? So it's like you're just passing a spot to like black directors because you feel like you're obligated to, which is not meritorious, right? Like that shouldn't be a conversation. But unfortunately, the Academy does have a habit of doing shit like that. So, I mean, but at the same time, if it gets nominated, it does get nominated. I don't think I do agree that Ludwig will probably get. That's actually thinking about it now. It's like his name, right?
Yeah,
if we're basing this off of an Academy that they have confirmed that people have not watched the movie and are voting on it, that is where a name matters. Ludwig's going to probably definitely be getting the nod. Will definitely be on that. Will be nominated for it.
And I'm telling you right now, if I see this get nominated for cinematography, I'll be very upset.
Oh, I would be too. I'm not even the cinematography guy, and I'd be like, "This is not worth it." Like,
but I can see that again. Like you didn't like it, but I can see it's the thing that gets talked about the most. I do think the sound or music or whatever will get nominated in some way, especially if a movie like Amelia Perez gets fucking nominated. Yeah,
and that's another thing where like they're just gonna like. I think again, if you put up Sound of Music and Ludwig's name is on there, they're just going to flock to it. They're just going to see it on there like, oh yeah, I know Ludwig. Yeah, he probably did a really great job on Sinners. Let's go. I hope this doesn't get treated like Amelia Perez. I don't think I will say on that part, because we went in on Amelia Perez being like a Nepo movie. I do not think this is a Nepo movie. I actually think that it getting nominated, like it's two way different fucking ballparks, right? Like I don't think... I can see where like people would nominate this movie. I don't agree with it, but I can see that. Amelia Perez, after watching that, Jesus Christ. Like I just wanted my time back. Yeah, like that sucked.
That was a waste.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like we're a small podcast, so I don't know if we'll get hated for this review because like we're two like white guys and we're talking about
whatever, man.
A black movie, but like I think we both understand our like place in all this. Like we watch everything and anything we want, and we like everything or hate it. It's one or the other. Like we either
we're
like
not
it or
even
hate
that
it.
binary about it. I mean, we're just going to give our impressions on it, right?
I'm pretty just mid on this movie. I think it's mid.
I think it's pretty mid. It's pretty average, and I think that Ryan Coogler has done better, and I think he can do better than this. I really wish, because like again, there's parts of this like screamed like again where he was being inspired by things, right? I still think like the whole Dr. Sleep vampires like inspired his like eye thing. I think that the whole garlic thing was from The Thing. I think that there were parts where I just wish he would have sort of embraced. I just wish he would have committed. That's what I'll say. I wish he would have committed to
something,
a genre of something. Because I felt like this was like, I just felt like we were going in a couple of different directions. I don't think he did any of them spectacularly. I think they were well at best.
I think honestly, this gives me the feeling of like, this is like his new like his new directorial debut in a new era of his life, where it's post these MCU movies, post these franchise movies. So it's like, this is maybe his new direction that he wants to take. So maybe like the next movie he has is going to be a step up within this new skill set he's gotten from he's probably gotten a ton of experience on these big ass sets that he's had to do since 2015 or something. So like 17? This is his first movie in his own realm.
18.
That's 10 years after, or like 12 years after he got his start with Fruitvale Station, which was again a little bit smaller of a production, obviously, because it was like made for less than $1 million. And it was very small town. Like it didn't have a ton of sets, and it was just kind of like moved around and stuff like that throughout the city. But it didn't have like a lot of locations or anything. And it was good because it felt more subdued, and maybe that's more of his style that he just needs to get back. Cause maybe this one, it felt too grand for his skill set. It tried to be too grand for his skill set is what I meant.
Yeah. Well, I don't even think it's a skill set thing. I think he just needed to commit. I think if he would have committed to like, again, like the horror aspect of all of this, and try to make it more of a horror movie. And like, again, like, cause the action wasn't really well done. The horror, I don't think it was really well done. The love story and the sexiness wasn't like, it was kind of like a afterthought. It's just like I just need a little bit more commitment in a genre. I think that would have been fine. And I do kind of want to address like just kind of getting ahead of like whatever hate we might be coming at getting. I don't think we'll be getting hate. I think we're trying to be, our intent as always is to just give you our opinions. We are at best entertainers. In reality, we are two best friends that love movies and we love discussing about them. This is honestly, if I'm being real, like this vehicle, this podcast, its primary goal is for me, myself, and my best friend to talk about movies that we used to talk about all the time. It's just like if we were in our living room talking about them like we used to. And we just want to share that because we do think there's good conversation in here. And if you don't agree with it, that's fine. I'm not going to try to convince you and like arm wrestle you like into a headlock or some shit and be like, you know what? Like you should think that this movie fucking sucks. I don't believe that. You're allowed to have your opinions. And honestly, like not many people, a big problem that we have in just society is we don't have conversations. We just get angry. We get polarized. Let me know. I'm being sincere when I say, let me know down below what your thoughts are. Do you disagree with us? Do you agree with us? Like, do you have a different opinion entirely? I want to read it. Yeah. I want to know what you think. And we can discuss it there. Honestly, I would even be willing to like once in a while bring someone into the Discord and just to like bring another opinion.
100%. I would love it.
I would love that. We'd have to get some setup going, but like I'm all about getting just like the people in here. That's just setup. So we genuinely want to have a discussion about this, and I'm not trying to punch up on Ryan Coogler. I'm trying to be constructive. And I was pretty pissed, I think, last night after I watched it. I was walking around with my daughter, just like trying to put her to sleep, thinking to myself, like, I can't believe this motherfucker thinks I'm this stupid. He just thinks I'm a fucking idiot. Yeah. Like, I had to like steam myself down. And I would actually say the conversation that you and I just had, like, really brought in like new perspective and new information. I still hold by with what I said, but it's not nearly as volatile as my feelings were. And that's a good part about this. And again, I still will 100% go to an average original written, produced, and directed by literally anybody over the schlock that we get these days in the content farm of the world and the internet. So Ryan, I want more from you. I really do. And I think you've done better. Like I'll say, like we just said, Creed, you've done better.
Yeah, I think Fruitvale Station is better.
It's been a little too long since I've watched it, but I do remember liking it quite a lot.
Yeah, I'm gonna catch it. I'm probably gonna watch it soon. Just because
I wouldn't mind watching it again.
This inspired me to watch it. Because again, he has good eye.
Want to go ahead and put Ryan Coogler on the deep dive list? Not for the next one, but like after it.
My problem is that it's just so small. Because I had to rewatch Black Panther twice and then Creed 1. I don't know, it just feels like too small.
Yeah. Well, we can do a few others. I mean, we still need to get through the next
what we're going to talk about now, right? Penny Marshall. That's what's next.
We need to talk about. We're not talking about Penny Marshall right now, are we? I haven't watched any of them.
No, not right now. Obviously not.
Oh yeah,
we're 2 hours in, but we gotta end the podcast and tell folks what's next. Because I'll stop bringing up anything else that pisses us off. So no more sinners talk.
No more sinners talk. Anyway, so we're heading out now. This is a longer episode. Most of these sometimes can be. We're trying to be better, but if you have made it all the way to like whatever, this probably like a 2 hour mark, I just have to say, thank you so much. And again, we're not here to upset or like, we're not trying to galvanize anyone. We're here for a discussion. And we really do mean that. And I'm not trying to, And these are our opinions, right? At best, we're entertainers on the internet. Like, we just want to have a good discussion. In reality, we're just two best friends that want to talk about movies. And we want to bring you in on it. So let us know down below what your thoughts of these movies, the movies that we discussed are. Let us know what you think. Again, like, comment, and subscribe. We really appreciate that, and it goes a long way. And if you've been here this long, like, come on, why not?
Holy
like,
shit. Thank you.
You've been in here for a minute.
Honestly, get out of here. Take a break.
Yeah, actually, yeah. Like, put a pause, go take a couple laps around the block and come back. But again, just thank you so much. And also, we might think of, we'll think about like we're pretty small right now, right? We don't have anyone interacting, but I'm definitely down to just bring in random people.
I think it'd be fun,
that'd be fun. Just to like, if you like to do like a fan episode, but like just an episode.
Tell us why we're wrong.
People tell us why we're wrong. Oh, actually, no, that triggered the shit out of me. I'm not about to be some fucking Crowder,
tell me why we're wrong about Sinners.
No, just we'll have a discussion about like movies that we've talked about and why you like them or you didn't like them. And that could be really interesting. We'll work on getting that set up. It shouldn't be too hard. Well, I digress.
So what's next, guys? Next podcast, we're talking about Penny Marshall. This is a female director. Again, I've been wanting to incorporate some more female directors. Obviously, we'll do other like people of color and anything like that. Not a bunch of like white boy directors and shit like that. So Penny Marshall is going to be our first one. She is the director of Big. She also did A League of Their Own. What was it? Jumpin' Jack Flash was the first one.
The one we really wanted to do though was what was it?
Yeah, why do I forget?
Awakenings.
Yeah, Awakenings. So yeah, I actually already watched Big, by the way. I finished that up yesterday, so I'm already a little ahead, but I'm going to probably catch the other ones this week. So next week, I guess a week ago, if you're watching this podcast, we already did the Penny. No, wait, am I doing this right?
This is going to come out.
This is coming out this would be coming out the 7th. So then we're a little bit behind, I guess.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's whatever, man. Like, I'm not like, I hate, I'm like a vibe creator. That's why I told myself, like, with my books and stuff. So like, we're going to have an episode dropping on the 30th. So that will be the one that was supposed to come out last week. That's whatever. Mm-hmm. Then the 7th, we're going to do this
episode. So
which we find, which kind of lines up too with, the 21st being a director episode. Really, I think we should have had the director. Well, no, because didn't we did Luca this month. Luca's coming out this week though. Mm-hmm. Yes. So it's still in this month. So like, yeah, this still lines up that May is Penny.
Yes. So yeah, I mean, these are going to be released when they release, but those are some big movies and I'm excited to watch them. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Just subscribe down below. Thanks for watching as always. I think we're out.
Bye.
Bye.